Welcome to the Athlete Insights Podcast, hosted by Yash Pad Day, a podcast focused on letting athletes tell their journeys in their sport. This podcast is presented by Boxed Water. Boxed Water is better.
Welcome into another episode of the Athlete Insights Podcast. Today I've got my guest, Drake Harvey. He's a golfer at Somerset Academy in Las Vegas. He's also currently committed to BYU and their men's golf team. So, Drake, appreciate you spending time to your holiday break with me. Congrats on the commitment to BYU, but also appreciate you spending time with me on your break as well.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. And so, as I do with my guests throughout, want to kind of start from the beginning and get to where you're at today and kind of go from there. And so, can you talk to me about not just golf, but sport in general? When was it that you really fell in love with sport? What age was that? Did you really start playing or start sport in general?
Yeah. So I started golf when I was pretty young. So probably around 3 to 4. I've always been around golf because my dad played professionally for a couple years, and my uncle he played on the PGA for like 20 something years. So I've always really been around golf my whole life, but I didn't really like it in the beginning. So I go hit balls every once in a while, but I played soccer from the age of like 5 to 8, and then once I was 8, I was like, I don't really like it too much, and so I was like, oh, let me go pick up a golf club again. And then we got a membership at the course that I'm still at, TPC Summerlin, which has been great. I've been super lucky to be able to practice there. It's a great course.
Beautiful course.
So I started to practice a little bit, played my first tournament when I was 9, and I won that one. It was like 9 holes, shot like 39. And that kind of sparked my love for golf. And then
Did you play any other sports? Like you said, soccer really growing up. Other than that, anything else in between in there?
Yeah, I played when I was 11 to 12 to 14. I played flag football with some friends from school, but that never too serious about that. Like we were good most of the time, but I mean, I was definitely focusing on golf. I think the reason why my dad wanted me to do a little bit of flag football was just to like have a slightly more endurance so that I can play 18 holes. It's like the same, like the first 9 holes and the last 9. I mean, the last 9 are obviously a little tougher when you're first starting out because you just play 9 holes for every tournament. So I think that definitely helped with my 18 and 36 hole days for sure.
Gotcha. And through your youth golf years, and I know you, like you said, you sprinkled in a couple other sports in there for fun, for leisure, but through your youth golf career, is there a tournament? Is there a core memory that stands out with that?
Yeah, I would say the first one that comes to mind, it was the Utah State Junior Amateur. I was 14, just turned 14, and it's like a match play tournament. And I was I was 3 down with 6 to go on this kid that he comes down to Vegas all the time and plays tournaments. And we usually we butt heads a little bit. But so that match I wasn't playing too great, but I just flipped the switch and I was trying to that was a semifinal match. And so I wanted to get to the final at least. And I won, I think it was 5 of my last 6 to win that match. And I've never gotten more hyped on the course probably ever. And so that was definitely something that it was just a lot of fun. And then I went on to win the final match 6-5. And then I'd say another one was just this summer. I won. It was just my first big tournament that I won. It was the Pete Dye Invitational. And that one was just a grind. That whole final round, I was just missing all these greens. I think I hit 4 greens out of the 18 or something crazy. But I just kept getting up and down and kept chugging along, and then I ended up winning by 2. So I'd say those are probably my 2 favorite memories from golf.
Gotcha. And again, I'm looking was looking through your AJGA record and looking at your records previously. I mean, you've had a stellar year so far this year. You mentioned the Pete Dye Invitational. You had a couple of top 10, top 25 finishes. It's been you've had a stellar year so far. So it's been great to kind of see as I've been studying your records and studying kind of your career so far in that regard, the progression that you've had. And now that's led to, which we'll get to later on, that BYU commitment with BYU men's golf. But can you talk? We'll get into your high school career now. You're in the class of 26, so you still got another year
Mhm.
left of high school golf. But can you talk to me about your experience playing high school golf in Vegas?
Yeah, yeah. So Vegas, we kind of go in like a wave. So it's like every like 5 years we'll have like really, really good players, and I was right
Hmm.
on the back end of that. So my freshman year, we had probably the best player to come out of Vegas, Mason Snyder. So he was
Okay.
a senior that year. But
Okay.
my school, so I was supposed to play for, I'm zoned for the school Shadow Ridge,
Oh,
but
okay.
since my school, they thought that I was gonna go there for high school to play golf.
Oh, okay.
But I stayed just because I've been there since kindergarten, so it'd kind of be cool to be like, oh, I
Hmm.
was there from the very first day the school opened till I'm out of high school.
To
But
high school, yeah.
so they're like, oh, let's make a golf team since you're staying here, and I was like, hmm, okay, all right, whatever. And so we ended up being 4A, which is, I mean, I thought we were going to be 3A, but 4A is still pretty good.
Hmm.
So state, my freshman year was a little interesting. I mean, I won all the matches, and then we
Okay.
go into state, and I think I had like maybe a one shot lead on this one kid. But there was just some really weird like rulings that they made for that tournament. So they're like, oh,
Hmm.
any like unsportsmanlike action will result in the two-stroke penalty. And
Gotcha.
one hole I four putted, and then I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'm done with this golf ball. So I tossed it into the water, and so I ended up making an 8, and I lost
Hmm.
the lead. And so all the coaches were like, all right, we're gonna follow you until you're done, and then like we'll see like what we'll do. Like they're almost thinking about disqualifying me for tossing a ball in the water, which was interesting, but.
Wow.
Um, on the back nine. I birdied. I think it was like the 12th hole. This par five, and
Hmm.
then there's two drivable par fours in a row after that.
Okay.
I chipped in for eagle on the next one. So then
Ooh.
a couple coaches left, and then I chipped in for eagle on the next one again. And so then all the coaches left. So that was definitely pretty fun as a freshman to see all the
Yeah.
coaches leave and stop talking. And
Yeah.
so I won state that year, and then this past year at state, I think how much? I think I was one behind actually going into the final round, and then I kind of just scrapped away like a pretty solid round. I think I shot like six or seven under,
Okay.
to win that one by a couple. But yeah, like golf in Vegas. Um, it's I start to I mean I've started to go everywhere else to
Hmm.
play golf. The best tournaments are all back east.
Yeah.
So I kind of focus more on that than playing in Vegas, just because like my ranking, if I play, I have to shoot like at least 10 under for 2 rounds just to stay where
Mm.
I'm at. And I don't know, like I mean, I have to play really good to do that.
Yeah.
So I've kind of started to go back east for pretty much every tournament.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's my high school career so far.
And, and talking about the AJGA, you mentioned going east and playing east and playing in different time zones, playing in different weather conditions, climate conditions. Can you talk about, because golf courses, are different based on the geography. Golf courses in England are different versus the US versus in Europe versus like, and even in different parts of the United States. Like you said, Vegas, New York, Florida, golf courses
Yeah.
are different. Can you talk about like being able to adjust and adapt as you've transitioned your junior golf career to play more tournaments on the road and in different areas of the country,
Mhm.
being able to adapt to course conditions and kind of how you've been able to do that?
Yeah, I think living out west is kind of a blessing in disguise. Like when I
Okay.
first started going back east, Bermuda grass was such a
Mm,
struggle in the beginning.
yeah.
Just chipping around the greens, that's usually like the best part of my game, or one of my
Hmm.
best part of my game. And my first tournament back east, I think it was in, well, I guess North Carolina was the first one. But like my first AJGA was in Texas. So it's not
Okay.
like that far back east, but I just, the first round, I just couldn't, I mean, could not chip to save my life. But then
Uh-huh.
I kind of just like, I watched few videos on how to chip and that stuff. And then the next day I chipped in 3 times
Wow.
in that round. So I've figured out Bermuda a little bit. Still,
Okay.
like I like bent more, just because
Okay.
I'm used to that. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, going back east, especially with the 3 hour change,
Yeah.
it can get tough if you have like an early tea time.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's definitely going to help me in college because like if you're like BYU is obviously on the West Coast, so traveling back east to tournaments is just going to be second nature for me. I'm already been doing that, so I
Yeah.
think it's definitely going to help me in the long run for sure.
For sure. For sure. And being able to adapt to any course really can help you, like you said, at BYU at the college level, at the professional level, should you choose to go professional at any certain point.
Mhm.
Being able to adapt to courses, I mean, yeah, it's amazing. When I'm watching PGA Tour, Corn Ferry Tour, and I'm seeing these guys week in, week out go
Yeah.
from like Florida to Kansas City to California, and like being able to adapt
Yeah.
on the fly is wild. And it seems like you've already been able to adjust and master to that skill and cater to that skill. So it's been great to see. And you mentioned BYU and how it'll help you in the college realm. Can you talk about your commitment to BYU and kind of what really helped you make that decision? What helped you land on BYU?
Yeah, the recruiting process is definitely that 6 months was probably the most fun I've ever had in
Uh-huh.
golf for sure. But I mean, it was just so much thinking. I thought so much about it, and
Hmm.
every school that I visited, I was like, dang, like I think I might be going here. Like everything was so great at
Yeah.
every school. And so I made like a ton of charts. I did these charts with like numbers and I tried to like average them out, see which one had the
Gotcha.
highest grade. But BYU was, I never really thought about how would I say no to the school. Every other school I was like, dang, like this is gonna be it'd be so tough to say no to them. But I never really thought about that with BYU, and it's always been like a dream school for me because my dad played there, my grandpa
Uh-huh.
played there, uh,
Gotcha.
and my brother's up there. He's a freshman. Both of my
Okay.
cousins, or well, three of my cousins are up there. One's
Gotcha.
swimming there, and she's probably the
Oh,
best swimmer there as a freshman. I'm pretty
okay.
sure.
Yeah.
So
The collegiate level and the high school level, and NIL, now that we're in that space, NIL, transfer portal, all of those fun things that come in. But specifically, I want to touch on NIL, and it's seeping into the high school space now. You've got one more year of high school left before you uh, move into the college ranks. Can you talk about? Have you thought about NIL? At least, especially with like one more year left in high school, about potentially uh, starting or reaching out and partnering with NIL with companies at the high school level and having that transfer to the college level. You thought about that process? Kind of what was been your process been like with that?
yep. So I mean, pretty much every school that I was with had NIL, and they all uh, offered that. But I think what
Mhm.
I want to do, I wear like Oakleys every time I play, so that would be
Gotcha.
super cool to get that.
Uh-huh.
But I think yeah, NIL is definitely an important part of my decision. It wasn't the biggest decision, obviously,
Hmm.
um, but I would definitely rank that pretty high. But um, I think I think it's great that athletes can get paid. I think it is pretty interesting at the high school level. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know about like I think for football, I think that's should happen for high school
Hmm.
because it's such a big part of high school athletics.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For golf, I probably wouldn't say that I would get NIL as of right now.
Hmm.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but I mean, I still have a year, so maybe I'll get a deal done. But like I have like my sponsorships with Ping and with
Hmm.
Titleist and FootJoy.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll try to maybe get like a
Yeah.
close.
Connect with them and, you know, try to, always say, and I'm a big proponent of athletes getting paid, whether it's football, basketball, golf, hockey,
Yeah.
whatever it may be.
Uh,
Try to leverage the partnerships you already have, like you said, with Ping, with FootJoy, with Titleist, and kind of build those into as you get into your college career. And I think that that'd be a greater benefit on your part as well with that. So, no, like I
mhm.
said, I'm excited for you with the NIL space and kind of seeing what you do moving forward in your career with your senior year left now on the table and as you move into college and how NIL will play a role in your career, kind of how that progresses. And so before I let my guest go, before I end the podcast, always try to, you know, get advice or I get my guests to give advice. And so I wanted to kind of talk to you about kind of throughout your golf career and throughout your life in general, what's the best piece of advice that you've gotten?
Um, I think the best advice that I've gotten was like golf advice was from my uncle. He kind of just saying like like in golf, you're gonna be let down probably 90% of the time, and you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna get like what you want out of it, probably 10%.
Yeah.
Um, and so he was like, yeah, like I've wanted to quit so many times, but like I know that like that 10% is worth it. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, like golf is really like one of the I mean, it's the best thing that I'm the best at. So
Yeah.
like golf, it'll definitely knock you down a
Yeah.
lot. And so just knowing that like the work that I've put in to this
Mm-hmm.
game has been pretty insane. And my coach, he told me he's like estimated that I've put in like I don't even like he said like 15,000 hours or something crazy. Or
Yeah.
that's what he's estimating. But I was like, I've just known that it'll be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, obviously, when I was younger, I never thought that I'd be in this position at all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, but now we're here. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, just keep pushing. And I mean, you're gonna shoot bad. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like even Scotty Scheffler will have a bad day every once in a while.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think yeah, just keep pushing, and just I mean just do your best because every shot does count when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to your ranking. Like
Yeah.
there's been a few turns where if I shot one or two shots better, I would have made it into a couple other
Ah,
tournaments. So like
gotcha.
there, I mean every shot counts. It doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
what level you're at. I
Yeah.
think. I mean, you just gotta just keep pushing and try to have the best attitude that you can. I'm still
Yeah.
working on that for sure, but um, yeah, I think keep pushing, keep going. I think
Yeah.
that's probably my best advice for golfers specifically.
And what's the one skill? I know, like obviously, and off the tee, be around the green. You said chipping is kind of your chipping, putting around the greens is kind of your forte.
Hmm.
My iron play, speaking personally, has been my strong point so far. But
Uh,
if you're talking to, want you to kind of imagine if you're talking to young golfers, like you said, starting three, four, five, six, into like elementary school, middle school. What would you tell young golfers or parents of young golfers who are trying to develop their kids? What's one or two skills when it comes to golf that they really should focus on when at that age?
yeah, yeah. For the parents, I would say like when you're trying to develop. your kid to become the best golfer they can,
Hmm.
I would focus mostly on like irons and down. But I think the
Okay.
most important thing, especially when you're younger, like elementary, you just gotta. I think, like for me, what worked best with me was just like letting me go and go chip because I've never had a chipping lesson in my life, so I've
Okay.
just learned my own way of chipping.
Oh wow.
But I think just let it try to develop maybe not less on the getting better. I think you just got to
Hmm.
develop the love for the game with when you're like 4 or 5. But I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
once you're in elementary, middle school, maybe the end of elementary, fifth to eighth grade. Eighth grade, you definitely gotta focus on the like
Fundamentals.
yeah the mechanical and the mental part of the game.
Hmm.
But I think if you don't have the love or the fire for the game, it's gonna be a lot tougher to succeed. So I think developing that early on is important.
Hmm.
And then once you're in middle school, I mean, if you can't get it off the tee, it's gonna be tough. So I think
Yeah,
the things that I work on the most is getting the ball in play
yeah.
and then trying to make as many pars as I can with chipping and putting around the green. So I
Hmm.
think I think those are probably the most important things because if you're having a bad day with your irons and your chipping will save you,
Yeah,
your short game's always going to save you shots, no matter how bad you're hitting it. If you're making
yeah.
all your 8 footers for par and bogey, you're gonna be fine out there. So I think those are the most important things to focus on when you're younger.
For sure, for sure. Just like you said, it's great to kind of hear you say that. Is you got to develop the love of the game first before you can really hone in on the mechanics. If you don't
Yeah.
really love it, you're not really gonna perform well with the mechanics. So it's great to kind of see that progress there. But that's all the time we have for this episode of the Athlete Insights podcast. Drake, I want to thank you for providing your insight, providing your experiences, and chatting up with me. Like I said, anytime you're in Tennessee, the Knoxville area, man, hit me up. Let me know. But love to play golf. I mean, I play recreationally, but I love to play all the time or try
Mhm.
to play as much as I can. And so it's been great to kind of connect with you and follow your journey. And you can follow Drake. I'll have your social media up on the video and up in the YouTube in the description, so you can follow Drake and his journey through his final year of high school into college and beyond. And you can follow Drake on there on Instagram, and I'll have his social media, like I said, up on the video. You can follow my podcast on YouTube, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you get a podcast, you can get this one. But once again, Drake, I want to thank you for taking time out of your holiday break. Hope you have a very happy New Year and a very happy 2025. But until then, we'll see you next time.